I now welcome our third panel, Representative Fry and Representative Jayapal from the Committee on the Judiciary. Your full statement will be submitted for the record, and we ask you summarize your statement in 5 minutes. Representative Fry, I welcome your testimony.
During the attack, thank you. Should know that by now, Madam Chair. During the attack, Kayla tried to call her boyfriend to help her. Her boyfriend later found her not breathing, strangled to death, with her own iPhone cord wrapped tightly around her neck. Authorities later determined that Kayla also had been sexually assaulted. Before leaving her lifeless body, her assailant robbed her of the $6 in cash from her purse. Kayla's murderer, Walter Javier Martinez, was a 16-year-old Salvadoran national. Martinez illegally crossed the southwest border in 2022 during the Biden-Harris administration. He admitted to authorities that his aunt paid $4,000 to a so-called guide to smuggle him from El Salvador to the U.S. border. As is required by law with most unaccompanied alien children, Walter was transferred to the custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement and the Department of Health and Human Services. Once in the care of HHS, thousands of taxpayer dollars were spent to find a sponsor for Martinez and provide him with housing, food, counseling, schooling, clothing, and medical services. Unfortunately for Kayla, according to information in Martinez's case file obtained by the Judiciary Committee, the Biden-Harris HHS was far more interested in determining whether Martinez identified as transgender or intersex and asking if he, quote, felt safe telling people about his gender identity than they were in finding out if he was an MS-13 gang member. Those records also show that instead of conducting a criminal background check for Martinez or identifying his gang tattoo, HHS ensured Walter had multiple opportunities to paint rocks, make art therapy bracelets, create a vision board, whatever that is, write in his gratitude journal, practice mindfulness, play positive bingo, and receive counseling on topics such as discrimination, racism, and xenophobia. The Biden-Harris administration's HHS even described Martinez in the records as friendly, positive, helpful, and a unique individual. Clearly, they were wrong. The Biden-Harris HHS then promptly placed Martinez with a sponsor, purportedly his first cousin, although according to the records, his sponsor submitted unclear pages with missing information and even told HHS she didn't have legal status in the country. None of it mattered. Martinez ran away from the sponsor's home just after 1 month of being with that sponsor. His sponsor later told HHS after the murder that Martinez left because he wanted to, quote, do what he was doing in his home country, get in trouble on the streets and hang out with gang members, end quote. Only after Kayla's murder did any government official even attempt to find out whether Martinez had a criminal record, and it wasn't even our federal government. It was the local police, Madam Chair. The local police investigating Kayla's murder learned from Salvadoran authorities that Martinez was indeed an MS-13 gang member with a 2020 arrest record for illicit association with the violent gang. Why did no federal official try to determine the criminal history of a 16-year-old Salvadoran national entering the country illegally? Because the Biden-Harris administration just simply didn't care. Instead, Secretary of HHS, Javier Becerra, cared only about moving hundreds of thousands of UACs out of HHS custody as quickly as possible. As a New York Times report noted, which is no bastion of conservatism, Becerra pressured HHS employees to expedite UAC processing and placement, saying, quote, if Henry Ford had seen this in his plants, he would have never become famous and rich. This is not the way you do an assembly line. Because of this careless approach, necessary checks about Martinez's background and potential affiliation with MS-13 were never performed. The Kayla Hamilton Act will require UACs to be assessed not only to ensure that the UAC is protected from exploitation, but also to determine if the UAC presents a flight risk, has a criminal history, or presents a danger to themselves or others. For those UACs 12 years of age or older, HHS will also conduct a screening for gang affiliation. including assessing a UAC for relevant gang history, criminal history, or gang tattoos. If HHS had conducted this screening of Walter Martinez, Kayla would be alive today. Additionally, under this legislation, if the checks performed reveal that a UAC 12 years of age or older satisfies certain factors, like having a gang tattoo or a criminal history, the UAC will be placed in a secure facility rather than imported into the interior of this country. The Kayla Hamilton Act will also ensure that UACs are protected, which I think is a very noble part of this bill, from those who wish to exploit them. We know that there are missing children in this country because of this program. This legislation closes a loophole currently in law that allows illegal aliens to sponsor UACs. The bill also includes common sense reform that bars UACs from being placed with convicted criminals. And finally, the bill ensures that HHS conducts a thorough background check of a UAC sponsor and adult who reside in the same home. Currently, they do not do that. The bill makes certain that UACs are not placed with a sponsor until HHS actually receives the results of the background checks. That's the whole purpose of doing the background checks, like checking the sex offender registry or the FBI National Criminal History. Waiting on background checks results before placing a child is simply common sense. With that, Madam Chair, I see the gavel.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of